Now that our reservation page is up and running, and admin now will be able to see all the reservations as well as find some reservation based on the mobile numbers provided by the customer. Now it's time to pay attention to the other options that admin will have in this app. So let's start with the add bus section. So when we click in the add bus section from the navigation drawer, we go to the add bus page, and we have already the add bus page UI ready, and there is nothing new. As you can see, we have a drop down list and we have a couple of text fields. So we need to provide, or admin has to provide, the bus type and the name of the bus numbers, and the total seats. This information are needed to for a bus, and admin has to provide all these informations. So if I go to the add bus page, as you can see, we have some variables at the add bus page state class. We have the controllers, and you need to dispose this controller. Let me check that whether I have disposed this controller or not. So yes, we have the dispose method, and you need to dispose all these controllers. Whenever you have any controller, you have to dispose it. And now we start with the form widget, and we assign the key to the form widget. We have the center, we have the list view, we have the shrink wrap to true, so that our list view goes at the center of the screen. And we have the drop down button form field, and in this drop down button form field we are getting three options, and these options are coming from the constant.dart file. So in the items section here, so we have a list bus types, and this list is defined in the constant.dart file, and we have three types of bus, so we have three options. So admin has to choose any one of these options. So I'm choosing AC Business. Then admin has to provide a bus name. So let me have a name like test bus, something like 4. And the bus name will be, say, TB, then 004, and the total number of seats. So I have selected AC Business, so total number of seat will be 18. So I am selecting or inputting 18. So now that we have all the informations in the input fields, it's time to press this button, add bus button. And whenever we press this button, first of all, we need to validate the fields. So if any of the fields is empty, there should be an error message. And if not, then we go to the next step. That means we need to create a bus object from this provided information. So first of all, we are giving an ID, and actually this is not important, or this is not necessary when we start working with a Spring Boot. Then we need to remove these lines. So I have put a comment beside this line, so that you can remember that we are only doing this because right now we have a temporary database. So when we work with the real database, we don't need to provide any ID for any type of object. So the bus name, that will be coming from the controller, name controller, bus number, and bus type as well. So now it's time to add this bus object to this tempdb table bus list, and this is very straightforward. We have done this stuff many times. So in the dummy data source, you will see a function or method that is overridden, that is add bus, and this method is coming from the data source abstract class. And all we need to do is to add this bus into this tempdb table bus list, and then we need to return a response model. And for now, we will just return a response model with some dummy data, just like we did for adding the reservations. So now inside the add bus method, I am calling the table list by tempdb dot table bus dot add, and now I'm adding the bus. So this will add this bus object to this bus list, table bus list, and now we need to return a response model. I am simply returning a response model with some dummy data. So response model, and the response status may be saved. So response status dot saved, and status code maybe 200. The message will be bus saved, and now object, I'm just passing an empty object or empty map, and I need to mark this function as async. Now all I have to do is to call this function or method from the app data provider class. So inside the app data provider class, let me write a new function. So the return type will be exactly same of that dummy data source class. So that will be a response model, and the function name will be add bus. This function will take a parameter of bus, and I am simply returning the data source function, data source dot add bus, passing the bus object, and this function returns a future response model, which I am directly returning from this method. And now I need to call this function from our add bus page. So now I'm calling the provider object by provider.of context listen false, because I don't want this provider object to update any UI, so I'm passing false to listen argument. And I need to specify the provider class here, so app data provider, and now I'm calling the function like add bus, and since it returns a response model, then I can call then, and now I need to check whether the response is saved or not. So let's check if this value, okay, let me rename the value here, so that will be a response. So now I will check if the response status is equals saved, response status dot saved. Then we will show a message to our user or admin. So show message, and the message will be coming from that response object, response.message, and then we will simply reset the fields. So we have a function inside the add bus page. We have a method called reset fields. This method is doing nothing but clearing the text fields so that admin can add another bus if he wants. So we are not popping this page and going back to the search page, because maybe admin has to add more than one bus. So whatever number of bus admin might needs to add, he will do that, and when he thinks he's finished with adding the buses, then he will simply press the back button and go back to the home page. So after showing the message, I'm simply resetting the fields, and you can also actually reset the drop down list as well, but I'm not doing that. I'm leaving it at that. So now if I press hot restart and try to add a new bus, then we'll be able to see a message that will say that a bus has been saved successfully. So I'm going to the add bus page, selecting a type. The bus name may be test bus 4, the bus number TB004, total seat 18, and then add bus. As you can see, bus saved message has been popped up and the fields has been reset. So now if I add another bus, that will also be saved in the temp.db file. So where we actually need these bus informations, these bus informations will be admin will need when you actually add the schedules, because whenever we need a new schedule, we we need a bus route. That means I'm creating a schedule, so that schedule will need a bus that will be associated with that schedule. We also need a route for that, and then we also have some schedules information in the add schedule page. So if I go to the add schedule page, and if I select the bus, this is currently unavailable or um, disabled, so we need to enable it. So before we go, or before we finish the add schedule, let us go to the add route page from here, and we also need to add a route. And in the add route page, if I go to the add route page, which is very much similar to add bus page, so these are very repetitive things, so that's why I made all the arrangements so that I can save some time. So if I go to the add route page, all you can see, all the stuffs are ready. So we have a controller because we have only one text field, and we have two drop down buttons, and this is a form destination, it's a to destination. And as you have guessed, right, this list is coming from the constant.dart file from these cities, the very list that we have used to search in the search page. So this list we will be using in this to from drop down button from fields. So if we go to the add route page, and now we go to the add route button here. So in the add route button, we gather all the informations from the input fields. Now we have a route object, and we have an ID, and we need to remove this ID later. And the route name is simply the from and to. That means two variables that will be initialized from these two drop down buttons, and the city from and city to, and also the distance in kilometers. So let me go to the dummy datasets class once again, and let's come to this add route function. All we need to do is add this bus route to this table route list and return a response model. So I'm just copying everything from the add bus function in the dummy data source class. So I'm copying this and pasting inside the add route function. First of all, I making this function as async, and instead of table bus, this should be the table route, and the object should be the bus route object, and the response model will be the same. And we need to change the message as well. The message should be route saved. And now we need to call this route function, add route function, from the app data provider class. So I am copying this add bus function and pasting just under this. The function name should be add route. The object should be bus route. The object name should be route, and the function should be add route, and just pass the route object. And let's go to the add route page right now and just call the provider function. And this time also I'm copying everything from the add bus page because this will be very similar. So I'm copying this and pasting, importing the necessary files. So the method should be the add route, the object will be the route, and everything will be same as well. So now if I restart the application and try to add a route, let's check whether we have a message like route saved. So I'm going to the route page, let us have some start and end destinations and some random distance. And if I press the add route button, and it says route saved. So now that we completed the functionalities of adding the bus and adding the routes, and now it's time to complete the add schedule section for the admin. So we'll do that in the next lecture.